A big what's up to everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be my NBA trade deadline review for the Philadelphia 76ers. No big splashes, but solid additions. Word of the day would essentially be bolstering, because that's what the Sixers really did. Bulls didn't do too much, but they didn't do too little. Let's take a deep dive into this one. So the Sixers participated in a 3-team trade that netted them point guard George Hill and forward Ignas Brazdeikis. The assets that they gave up were Tony Bradley, Terrence Ferguson, Vincent Poitier, and 2 second-round picks. Though at first I thought it was an overpay, after much research and thought looking it over, I believe that we did fine. Kyle Lowry did not end up becoming a Sixer, despite hella reports saying that he was going to be for the last 2 months. And this is why I tend not to pay attention to all of media noise. A lot of that is just conjured up to create, hype surrounding their own channel. I'm not sure what Toronto was thinking here. It seemed like they drove up the price so much that they outbidded themselves. Sources say that they wanted Maxey, Thibault, and picks for Lowry, including Danny Green. Masai Ujiri obviously has been importing that legalized Canadian Kush to Tampa, because there is no way we was going to give up all of that. But I'm glad that we stood pat. In my personal opinion, it wasn't worth it gutting the team. Going all in for a championship this season wasn't even guaranteed without the wing depth that we would have given up. It wasn't necessary for the volume that we were actually going to get back for a 35-year-old point guard who wanted a 2-year, $25 million extension. The goal of the GM is to maximize the potential of the current season without emptying their full clip for the future. I mean, I would have gave up Maxey and hella picks, but adding Thibault, that was too much. But let's talk about the pieces that we actually did acquire, because they actually are good. So George Hill is a 13-year NBA vet that has been around some impactful situations. He's played with Tim Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili back with the San Antonio Beast teams. He was eventually traded to the Indiana Pacers for Kawhi Leonard, which undoubtedly shows the value of his skills. He was an important piece with the mid-2010 Pacers teams that always got murked by LeBron James and his Heatles. He would eventually play with LeBron in the Cavs during their 2018 championship run, and he's also familiar with Giannis Antetokounmpo. No, he does not have any championships, but he's been through playoff wars, and that is the type of experience that we need with our 2 stars, Ben and Joel. Looking at his stats, he has averaged 11.1 points for his career, 3.2 assists, 80% free throw. He is a career 39% 3-point field goal maker. That's a flamethrower. Last season, he averaged 9.4 points on 51.6% shooting, and career highs in 3-point percentage at 46%. Add in 3.1 assists, and you have yourself a perfect backup point guard for this team. He is a good, solid 2-way player on defense, holding his own and locking certain people up. Offense, who can facilitate the ball to everyone else, as well as get his own shot up. Like, this is a very good pickup. I've been on record saying that I would rather have a point guard than a backup 4, and it looked like Daryl and Elton Brand had the same thought as your brother right here. This will take the ball out of Shake's hand and open up the offensive game for him even more, so he can fully embrace the combo guard aspect of his game. I was getting tired of seeing weak Shake passes, not going to lie. That wasn't his game. This move bolsters our defense even more, and that is the main thing that I want to highlight. Defense wins championships, and if we are going to beat the Brooklyn Nets, we cannot play them at their own game, which is shooting the ball. We're going to have to shoot the ball and defend, and George Hill adds to that. This team now has options. We can play him in the clutch. In certain situations, Hill can be inserted into clutch time lineups because he is that good, and he's been there before. Imagine a playoff lineup of Ben, Hill, Danny Green, Toby, and Joe with 3 minutes left in a playoff game. All that length, all that defensive intensity mixed in with offensive dominance from Joel Embiid and spacing enough on the floor to where the ball can get passed around for our shooters. That is deadly. We now have 3 experienced veterans around Ben and Joel Embiid. These are the intangibles that people do not understand nor want to understand. There's a mental aspect of this game. Of course, they're all NBA players and they play wonderfully well, right? But being able to essentially coach Joel and Ben player to player on the floor in real time in these high intensity playoff situations that we have been in before and have lost, i.e. our first playoff year against the Boston Celtics, where we lost in 5 games in a series we should have and could have won. And then we all know about the Toronto Raptors series that we had multiple opportunities to win, but we choked. those playoff losses had more so to do with the youth of Joel Embiid not actually understanding the game, not being in those situations yet while leading a team. It is very hard for young bulls to really play in these games and just get thrown in there by themselves. Joel Embiid led these Sixers teams by themselves and got us pretty far contextually for what they were at those times. But now we have vets who can aid in that development. George Hill has some familiarity with Coach Dan Burke and Popeye Jones, who are on the Sixers right now, so there's more cohesiveness than what meets the eye at the beginning. Daryl Morey wanted George Hill for a while, even during his Rockets days as their GM. He finally got his guy. Hill is signed under contract until the end of next season, so we can start to build chemistry. Yes. The next bull who we got was Brazdeikis. I wasn't going to give him his own segment just because I thought it was a throw-in, but there is some potential there, so let's just talk about it. He didn't get play for the Knicks last year, but in the G League, he did put up some competent numbers. Last year during his rookie season, he averaged 20.9 points per game, 7.1 boards, 3 assists, which is, pretty quality even if it is in the G League. Looking at his tapes on YouTube, the bull is very slow. Like, I can't even fraud. The bull is slow, but he is crafty and he is shifty. One of those slow type, play at his own pace type players. And he can get to the hoop at will. Now, I'm not saying he is going to be impactful right away, but there's something special about a player who can play at their own pace. And his shooting isn't bad either. It's a project, but a project that we can work with. We always work with projects. We're the Sixers, for God's sake. We got him for a second-round pick, so I'm just going to act like he was our pick for this season. Simple. There we go. This video is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings has brought their expertise to legal sports betting. It's a legitimate sports book based right here in the US, so you can rest assured that your funds are totally secure. DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the app and sign up using promo code YING215 for more perks. DraftKings is offering all new users a deposit bonus of up to $1,000. Yes, $1,000. You must make a deposit in order to be eligible to receive a deposit bonus of up to $1,000. Head to DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and check out all they have to offer, including player prop bets, live betting, futures betting, and so much more. And if by the off chance you do not have Sportsbook available in your state as of right now, don't fret, you can still download DraftKings Fantasy app, where they are offering millions of dollars in total prizes every single week. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full details. Thanks. These moves tell me that the 76ers are confident where they are right now with the guys they have. They believe that their core has what it takes to get to and win a championship. And I tend to agree. I still have Brooklyn as a slightly better team, but the Sixers are in the 4 upper echelon teams where it is a plausible possibility. And when playoff time comes, anything can happen. Regardless, the biggest need for the Sixers was a second facilitator, and we got a solid person to fill that rolling. Like, Bulls really need to look up who George Hill is. The best team in the East, who have kept their standing despite popular opinions saying that they would lose without their star player Joel. That team right there upgraded the position that they needed. Bulls said, we don't need no big splash. History tells us that NBA championship teams have continuity from year to year. The same stars, the same players, at least the same core. Real quick, I want to talk about Danny Green. I was low-key, high-key, medium-key perturbed that his name was in trade rumors. I was peeping on Instagram that he was a potential acquisition candidate for the Golden State Warriors. I'm like, yo, why is he even on the freaking trade blog, yo? Like, if you follow me at the Ben and Joe Show, you know that I have been a big proponent of him since jump. Thank God nothing happened, and we got Mr. 3 rings for our playoff push. So what's next for the Sixers? Looking at the buyout market, because we still need an actual big, probably a backup 5, or maybe even a stretch 4, just because we have let go Tony Bradley. Shout out to him. Sorry to see him go, but it is what it is. So who do we have? Kelly Olynyk, Boogie Cousins, Gorgie Dang. All 3 of them would fit nicely with the Sixers at this time. I personally want Cousins. I still feel like he has stuff left in the tank, and with him being backup to Joel, he doesn't have to really do much. He can still shoot the actual 3. And just thinking about the versatility of our big men, Joel, Dwight, and Cousins, At that point, you can really just hide Mike Scott's deficiencies. Plus, he has motivation to actually win. When we go up against the Nets, we need stars. So add another star here. I'm sure he'll be fine. So just to recap, the Philadelphia 76ers did not get Kyle Lowry during this year's trade deadline, but we did get George Hill instead. And Hill isn't no scrub himself. He fits perfectly with this team. We had to give away Tony Bradley to get this. And the organization is putting full responsibility on Ben and Joel to take us to the promised land. I want to thank everybody for pulling up and listening to A Brother Think. Like, comment, share, subscribe with a fiend, a Philadelphia 76ers fiend such as myself. The Sixers, with yesterday's loss against the Los Angeles Clippers, are 6-2 without Joel Embiid playing, but they have won 8 out of the last 10. As always, them Bulls are mad because the process worked. My name is Cain, and I will see you next time. Peace.